Welcome back to our 9.01 tier list video for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you've been keeping up this far, you'll know we've covered the trash tier, the low tier, and the huge giant mid tier which exists in the game. And now it's time for us to get to the really heavy hitters, the best of the bunch. Let's get to the high tier. If I make this shot right now into that wastebasket without looking, you have to sub to the channel. First try. Get to it. Yes! Oh, yes, I hit it. Okay. In high tier is Greninja. Greninja, as we all know, has some of the best frame data in the entire game. He's a very slippery character. I don't know if that was like thematically consistent with what he was, but essentially Greninja is hard to catch, and he's gonna make it really hard to catch because his movement options are so diverse, I would say, is a good way to describe it. A lot of times he's compared to Sheik, but obviously he has a little bit more kill power and a better recovery than Sheik does. A lot of drag downs, a lot of up smash finishers, a lot of running down tilts to make things happen. Recently we saw MKLeo experiment with Greninja a good bit to show the potential of the character, and it really was scary to see. On top of that, the character has a good counter, which could be devastating for a kill move at high percents. And, you know, while Greninja doesn't super excel in a specific area, he does still have a pretty good matchup spread, but because he doesn't excel in those areas, that's what's holding him back from being a top tier. He's a solid high tier, but I wouldn't say he has one thing that's like game breaking, right? Like, I would say drag down combos into up smash confirms are really damn good. His down tilt is really damn good. The fact that he can use water spurt as a recovery, that's so hard to catch, is really good. But there's a difference between really good and game breaking. So for that reason, especially in the current meta, the character hasn't been touched in a while, you know, I'd leave Greninja as a solid high tier character. And of course, a good way to define what a high tier is versus a mid tier. Mid tiers, to me, anything in mid tier is a character that really could, with enough work, win a national. A high tier has likely already won a national tournament in multiple regions, or at least won regional tournaments with hundreds of entrants. So Greninja, a very good high tier character. Would love to see what more this character can do. Honestly, a nightmare character for a lot of individuals to fight against. In high tier, I'm also gonna put Pac-Man. Alright, it's probably time for my rant here. I don't think a single character has made me want to like turn off my Switch and just go on a walk, or listen to vinyl, or go play with my cat as much as Pac-Man. I don't know if it's because of the specific like Puff versus Pac-Man matchup, but holy f***, this character irritates me. But he irritates me because how good he is. Fire hydrant, putting a wall in the center of the stage, forcing you to jump over it, with water pushing you to, gives Pac-Man so many opportunities to open you up. Combine that with the fact that you can forward smash it for pressure. It's such a good, solid game plan. And I swear to God, every Pac-Man I play is the same kid behind the screen. They're just, it's the same plan. And I hate it because it works every time. It works every time. Damn it. He jumps up twice. He drops a fire on you. If you get hit by it, that's gonna hurt. If you get hit by it after a forward smash, it's really gonna hurt. And if you don't do anything with the fire hydrant, Pac-Man sits behind it and uses his fruits to either get a Galaga combo, or when you're hyper set, he pulls out the bell. And if you get hit by the bell, that's a stock. And if he's feeling a little more saucy, he pulls out the key and goes for a Hail Mary throw, which could still kill you if you're very accurate. But in general, you go for the bell, you throw it, it stuns you, it kills you. The game plan for Pac-Man, I think this is what sets Pac-Man apart. Because he's a flowchart character, like if this, then that. But he has one of the most reliable flowcharts in the entire game. Oh, and did I mention his fucking recovery? Did I mention that? Or did I gloss over that earlier in my 100 streams? If I did, let me remind you. Pac-Man side B goes like it's as if he's the only character in the game that can legitimately call an Uber from anywhere and turn it in any direction he wants, and then use a triple trampoline recovery which boosts you to such ridiculous heights. I have no idea what they were thinking with his recovery, but contender for best recovery in the game. It's actually barbaric. And by the way, his frame data is pretty damn good too. That fair, bigger than you think, comes out real quick. That nair out of shield, don't get me started. That back that can kill, oh, that too. That downer to come down, multi-hit, yeah, that's gonna sting. Smash attacks that come out really quickly that kill you, oh, also very, very good. In case it wasn't painfully obvious, I have my feelings and views on Pac-Man, but if I put that aside, I will say this is a very good character. In high tier, we have Pichu. Pichu early on was considered one of the best characters in the game. For a little while, I think Pichu was considered the best character even. Especially when we saw Void do so well with Pichu at Genesis. Super, it's like a mosquito character, right? Super fast, super nimble, super tiny, packs a big punch. Pikachu's forward tilt used to be a thing of nightmares. Luckily, well, luckily for us, unfortunately for Pichu mains, it got nerfed very early on in the game. It was busted though, to be fair. Really good neutral Bs in the air. You can use it's pretty decent recovery. It has a bit of cooldown. You can still do some pretty cool loop combos. He's a very strong character, but I think the more time that goes on, people get comfortable with Pichu and eventually start to figure it out. And not only that, they figure out how to land kills easily on Pichu. For instance, I'm a Puff player, right? And I realize drill rest is very highly confirmed on lightweight characters. So you can go for drill rest pretty often on Pichu, and most of the time, or, you know, at least half the time, more so the other characters, it'll land pretty often. That's just one example, but like, mains of a lot of other characters have figured out ways to kill Pichu early, because no matter how strong the character is, it still is extremely, extremely light in weight. I would say in terms of Pichu, he's probably evened out comfortably in this tier. Now, barring any changes, I'd be really surprised if Nintendo decided to touch Pichu again. And as a note, since you guys have watched the video this far, we're approaching, I think we're approaching a near-ish endgame. Near-ish, right? Like, I think on 6.0, 5.0, we were like, no, there's nowhere near this, there's a lot of balance that need to happen. But I think it's only going to take a few more. Like, they're basically, I think they're going to patch less and less things as the game go along. Like, I'm noticing lesser and lesser patches. A lot of the patches in the most recent update of 9.0 were of, so you couldn't clank with finishers on rapid jabs, vulnerability fixes, things like that. And I say that, but then I'm always surprised, because like out of the blue, there's like, oh, by the way, we fucking buffed Sonic. I think the community, if the community came together and came up with like some judgmental system of fixing or doing the next patch notes, the next buffs and nerfs, they'd come together and be like, okay, let's take the absolute top tiers, let's nerf them a little bit, and let's take the absolute bottom tiers. So my trash tier in this case, if you haven't watched it, trash tier was, you know, Little Mac and Ganondorf. You know, buff those two characters to the point where they're viable, or at least low mid. And you know, the rest, very slight changes, right? You wanna create a gigantic middle tier. I think that's the sign of a good fighting game, is a gigantic middle tier, and a non-existent trash tier, and a non-existent overly top tier. Inkling, when the game first came out, Inkling was incredibly well-rounded, and regarded as one of the best characters in the game, right when it came out. And since then, nothing really changed except people got way better at fighting them. He's one of the characters that wasn't nerfed by patches. He was nerfed by intelligence. He was nerfed by adaptation, really. He was nerfed by the community's effort to solve the matchup. It's a great character, right? Incredible back air. Paint roller, up smash confirms, is so reliable. You got projectiles, you can play it campy, you can run it rush down a little bit, you got ladder combos with up airs, a really good recovery that has a nice active hitboxes even if you land on the stage. You know, really cool, really effective jab, which does a lot of damage. Good out of shield options too, including nair and up smash. Incredibly well rounded, right? A great character, but doesn't super excel at anything. Kind of in the same category that Greninja is, right? Great character overall, great frame data. Recovery can be giveable. Recovery, you know, they have to float a bit, they have to use paint roller, but if you call them out, it's pretty easy to predict where they're gonna go. You can gimp them. But I think as people figured out, especially how to play around roller, this character fell from grace. Fell from this top tier, what was people were just like, wow, this character might be top tier, best in the game, to now just a very solid high tier, right? But I don't think anyone would be willing to put Inkling back in top tier. That's just how much this character got figured out while really not being touched in terms of patch notes. Also in high tier, we have Mega Man. We've seen so many varieties of Mega Man play. We've seen Yeti. I mean, we've seen Plup. We've seen Kameme. We've seen this character be utilized in so many ways, and he really is a versatile character. He had some, very notable nerfs, like with Leaf Shield and with the lemons. But I feel like, he's always been like a character specialist type of character until we saw Mars use him as a clutch pick in the past. You would imagine like people who play Mega Man or those mains, like they just stick only to Mega Man. You don't really see Mega Man be a kit in like people who use a slew of characters, because he has his own uniqueness. But that's been changing recently too. Mega Man could border on top tier with more meta advancements. Like I don't really have to go on a spiel about what he has. I mean, you've seen it, right? He has projectiles. He has a forward smash, that's a projectile. He has a running jab, that's a projectile. He has a little honing bomb that sticks to you, also a projectile. He has an up air, that's a projectile. A leaf shield that does a really good get out of jail free card, does enough damage on in your face to get out of it, so you have to shield it when you can't really punish it. He has a gear that's not only a projectile, it also acts as a combo former that you can sort of gear drop and lead that into a back air, gear drop into up tilt, into a lot of things. He's got really strong up smash, stupidly strong down smash, an amazing back air. Good lord, that back air is ridiculous. And the fire forward are also really good. Great frame data all around. Down tilt, recovery goes up pretty high, has a nice little air dodge to act as a second jump after recovery. And all around, doesn't struggle horribly in too many matchups and destroys a lot of characters. Also in high tier is Olimar. Pikmin and Olimar. Pikmin, nothing much has changed since those huge original nerfs. We remember before he was nerfed, I mean, this was a de facto top tier character. You could just run away, let the Pikmin do their dirty work, and get disgusting confirms, especially with up smash. The thing is though, since those nerfs, I mean, I think there was a knee-jerk reaction to the nerfs, like remember DeBuzz saying like this character wasn't gonna play anymore, but I think over time he's remained an amazing character, right? He's got a supreme damage output, he's got supreme kill potential, just slightly less than before, to the point where he is now a balanced character. He's not game breaking anymore, he's just simply balanced. If you play him smart and patient, you can still unleash hell on your opponent. If you're patient and you know how to be resourceful and know which order Pikmin's coming out and when to use each aspect of him, if you play to the strengths, this is a nightmare character to deal with. And yeah, he's light, but he's tiny, one of the smallest characters in the entire game, so he's already hard to catch. Recovery is really good, snaps to ledge, and especially if you let go of Pikmin, you recover faster. And then of course you got the purple Pikmin, the big perps. You want a clutch factor? You want to come back from a bad deficit? Throw a purple out. Use a back air. Use an up smash. It hurts. It hurts hard. This is a scary character. So, Olimar definitely still high tier. Captain Falcon. This is a high tier character. I feel like every time Captain Falcon gets buffed, he gets higher and higher up, and it's really just increasing and confirming his consistency. The recent patch was for his up smash to connect a little more, but his up smash is really strong. He sits safely in high tier right now, and in the right hands can deal with most matchups, be it floaty, be it heavies, be it zoners. He has a good spread and has tools to deal with everything. I think because the Falcon players, especially like Fatality, Nixie, they've been able to like theory craft and discover ways to confirm knee combos, especially from Nair. Obviously there's classic like up air knee combos, there's downer to knee, there's good edge guards, but they've been really utilizing the Falcon also in a more defensive manner. They know like this backer is really good as a finisher. Sometimes you don't even need to do combos, just hit and run until it's good. And if you are like looking for an option, like just a running up smash, the fact that it comes so quick, I think the best Falcon players are really starting to take advantage of the fact that this character is a speed powerhouse and his damage output is really good as well. Can edge guard. Recovery is actually pretty good. He's like in every Smash game, he's classically giveable, but it's hard to compare him to what he used to be, right? Like he has a pretty average, recovery. It can be red, but sometimes you can get around it too because they give him enough little horizontal ambiguity. And and every combo he lands, it feels honest. Not to mention he has a really good jab, good down tilt. He has 2-frame options. He has up tilt to spike. He has like really good ways to like completely gain momentum back, right? So if something is going completely in your favor, you can run away really, really fast and get out of a bad situation really, really fast. It's rare to find a character with speed and power like this. Balanced, of course, by his recovery. But yeah, solidly high tier. So also in high tier, we have Terry. Terry, of course, one of the DLC characters, most similar to Ryu and Ken. Big glaring difference was that when he's over 100%, he can use one of 2 ridiculous moves, Power Gauger or Buster Wolf. These kill devastatingly early, and so the meta around Terry is kill him early, otherwise he'll kill you early. He got a quick buff in the meta because a lot of Ryu and Ken players used him as well. So all the players who use Ryu and Ken and were sort of used to that style of character were able to apply their knowledge to him. So he was already pretty threatening. You know, he's got crazy confirms off of jabs. He's really, really powerful. He can kill really, really early. Recovery can be gimp, but also have a lot of priority when it comes back up with the up B. And after buffs to the other 2 Shotos, all 3 characters like kind of sat really well next to each other with extreme strengths, but they were lacking a little in dealing with pressure scenarios. And actually, that's why I would actually put Terry, Ryu, and Ken all in the same spot here in high tier. I think Nintendo has sort of been treating the 3 of them as like a triumvirate. You know, they're sort of like when they push one up, the others get pushed up as well. And I think they started to notice that. So whether you call them the Shotos or the 2D fighters, whatever you want to call them, these characters, heavy outputs of damage. Like you've seen the combos Ken has and how early he can kill with Shoryuken. You've seen the confirms off of jabs. They all have their own flavors, and I think the 3 of them actually belong all together in high tier. And I think it's one of the characters that's most likely still might receive either, it could be either a nerf or a buff because they're so unique, right? So yeah, TLDR, super extreme strengths, really unique plays with combos, highly technical, but they lack in dealing with like pressure and rushdown. Also in high tier, we have Sonic. Sonic has to be high tier. After the recent buffs that he got and online meta advancements, I mean, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. No other character. Sonic probably has like the biggest argument, pro and con, in terms of differences between fighting him on Wi-Fi with delay and then fighting him in person. Sonic spoke a lot of times about this, saying that the delay technically nerfs Sonic 2, which is one way of looking at it. You know, you have to ask him more about that. I think in general, most people will agree that having delay is harder to catch Sonic. He's already fast enough as is. He's not like a powerhouse or anything in terms of strength, but he can hit and run you better than any character in the game. He is the definition of hit and run. He's got invincibility when he charges up his down B to a certain point, and you got to time it well. He can get around a lot of things. Your forward smash can kill you early. He can kill you off the top with up B with a sort of gimp. He can use spring to mitigate and block recoveries. He can use homing attack when he's dealing in neutral. He's a character that excels in going for timeout situations. And with all the recent buffs he got, I think he got a buff with an up smash. He got a buff with, you know, certain things that are more consistent to hit now. He's definitely high tier. I think it might change a little bit as we see offline events again, with more speculation and counterplay, but I think time will tell. Sonic had results definitely in Ultimate, but they weren't nearly as much as they used to be, like back in Smash 4. So I'll be curious to see how they deal. I don't think we'll see as many timeouts when IRL tournaments come back either, but from everything it has, like, obviously a solid high tier. But I think because he's not like the powerhouse he used to be in Smash 4, and I think sometimes he struggles to kill a little bit, it's what keeps him from top tier. And some matchups aren't really great for him either. Also in high tier, we have Ness. Ness, you've seen with Best Ness and some others, you've seen this character so many times now in online play, but we forgot that, you know, he still was a really good character offline as well. He was basically already high tier, and then they just gave him more buffs, gave him a better down air. They made his neutral B faster, PK Flash. And it seemed a bit much, but, you know, from what I can tell, I don't think it's changed the meta all that much. You just gotta be a little more careful with what he does. The only thing keeping Ness out of top tier is his recovery. While it's not bad, and while you can actually use, you know, PK Thunder on stage against yourself to actually get a lot of comeback confirms, and I mean, you can kill people at 30%, right? If you don't believe me, seriously, go Ness against your friend or online, and if you're down a stock, just try landing up B in neutral on stage when they're in the air. You know, when your opponent's coming down, they can choose to air dodge or attack you. Just use that. Use that and go for a clank. Like it's actually a lot more low risk than you might think, unless you're playing against like a Puff who like rests you. But even still, you have a lot. The window to get it is short because that Thunder comes back really, really quickly. Best Ness has gotten an illegal amount of kills and comebacks doing that. However, at that cost is his recovery that, while it isn't bad, a lot of characters can pretty easily eat it up. So basically, when Ness is off the stage, it'll always be the same like idea. If you can force the Thunder to hit yourself, it blocks it from hitting Ness, and then he just doesn't recover at all, right? If Ness hits himself, it still goes a certain distance, and you can die, easily get hit by it. But if you put yourself in that crossfire and let Ness hit you, it slows down the momentum of the PK Thunder too, and Ness recovery gets a lot worse. So if you're low enough percent, tank the hit on purpose if you can go down there, and just take the stage if you still can. Wii Fit Trainer is also high tier. Wii Fit Trainer is a high tier character because while it's one of the least used characters, I would say, the potential on Wii Fit is insane. No one really plays this character apart from like a few specialists, but those specialists are, when they do play, always seem to do well. And I think it's because they've known how to utilize deep breathing. The meta for Wii Fit is truly deep breathing. Knock away your opponent and use deep breathing as fast as you possibly can. And thank God deep breathing goes away after a while, because if this character has had 100% deep breathing all the time, I mean, contender for best in the game, right? The character gets ridiculously stronger. Character gets ridiculously scary. So much buffs that she can add to herself for a temporary amount of time. And yeah, it goes away after a while, but if your opponent's camping you while you have deep breathing, she can just use Salute the Sun, recover 1% at a time, but kind of frustrate your opponent and force them to come in. You need to play her game, right? It's like having Arsene whenever you want, maybe for a short amount of time, but like Wii Fit Deep Breathing, or Red Fit Trainer as I call her, and Arsene, like, they are kind of similar in how you have to approach them. You kind of have to wait out the storm, and when the eye is cleared open, then you can hit her. But then when you get her off the stage and try to kill her, she can use that damn soccer ball or volleyball, whatever you want to call it, to aim it, and it's so reliable and it comes out so quick, and it spikes you. So if you get too greedy, you get a little too comfy off stage trying to edge guard her, you can lose your stock really, really easily. So you can snap to ledge with her up B. You can use up B on the ledge, which creates like a bunch of hitboxes that are bad. And with every hit with a soccer ball is another chance for her to just run away, even while recovering. If you get a really big hit on her and she DIs well and she's like really deep in the bubble, she can use that time in the bubble to get deep breathing again. So it's like a factory character. It's also a flowchart character, but really weird hitboxes too. Jab grounds you, you know, up smash and kill you, forward smash kill you really, really early. You can low profile some of the stuff too, but her hitbox is very small and slender, so it's kind of hard to hit. And the edge guards aren't always easy because the up B moves in a really weird pattern. So this is a high tier character. Wii Fit can win nationals, I have no doubt in my mind. So in high tier, I'm also going to put Cloud. Cloud got nerfed super hard starting in Ultimate. Because I think Nintendo, Sakurai, they did not want a repeat of Smash 4 Cloud. They didn't want a repeat of Smash 4 Cloud, Bayo, Diddy Kong, you name it, right? They just didn't want that. I think they wanted to. They were like the United States colonizers, like saying like, all right, you know this old stuff, you know this old British laws. We're not gonna do it anymore. We're gonna use. We now measure things using this thing called inches, and instead of using kilograms, we're gonna use pounds. We don't want any of that. All right. They just made a whole new system. That's what they were looking for, especially in dealing with the Smash 4 top tiers. Cloud, of course, received that treatment. But after being nerfed into the ground, the buffs served him really well. You know, he got buffed again, and he became a lot more threatening of a character. In general, I mean, you've probably seen a lot of Cloud footage, but sword archetypes tend to do super well in Smash, honestly. So making Cloud more well-rounded continue to help him succeed. Any character with big range, any character with crit, with like, comeback potential with X Factor moves, any character that has like really good frame data is destined to do well. Cloud sort of had a mix of all three. You know, he's a demon on the stage. He's got a dash that can kill you. He's got an up air with a huge range hitbox, huge range and power back air, huge range power forward air, huge lasting down air, good jab setups, good tilts in general. He's like a halfway point between Ganondorf and Lucina, right? Like midway between power, midway of range, like that sort of thing. That's kind of the way I see him. The biggest thing he has going for him, obviously, is limit break. You can charge limit break. You can use character as a sort of oppressive character. You can kind of use him as a rushdown character if you want, or you can camp and just run away and use limit. And when you use limit, it makes Cloud not only faster, his recovery gets a lot better too. You have to waste the recovery up B if you have to use it. So meta play against the good counterplay against Cloud, obviously, is to force him to use his limit, and there is a time limit on it anyway, which is a good balance to him. If there wasn't a time limit on him, it would make him a way scarier character. But because of that, Cloud is good at chasing. What Cloud isn't good at is getting his air dodge red when he tries to recover. Without air dodging, Cloud's recovery would be absolute dog shit. But there is air dodging. So a clever Cloud player, and I think in the recent meta, Spargo has really shown this. A good Cloud player will be really good at mixing up the recoveries, especially to come back. But reading air dodges is horrible for the character. That's why the meta really pushes the system to like save your limit. If you're gonna go for risky play, make sure you have your limit, not just to punish with limit, but also if you do whiff a move and then they throw you off the stage, you have a guarantee to get back every single time. So yeah, very solid character, but as long as he has that recovery, and you know, for what it is, he's gonna stay in high tier, never top tier. I think, honestly. Young Link. Young Link is he's nasty, dude. He's a nasty little character with kill confirms. He's like a way better Toon Link, in my opinion. What I've seen with Young Link more than everything is how effective single hits into confirms are. Single hit back air into up smash, single hit back air into even like I think I've seen forward smash. I've seen so many ways this character can do well. The first hit of forward or slide down into down tilt. Up B out of shield always puts the opponent right above you, so you can do up B out of shield into up air. There's so many things you can do in close quarters. Not to mention the fact that Young Link's nair is phenomenal. His frame data is ridiculous. His down air kills. His up air could kill. His forward smash is really, really strong. And then that's not even mentioning his projectiles. I mean, Young Link's boomerang point blank is a murderer in every game. And from a distance, a really good walling out tool. Has good fire arrows, which are fast and drop quickly, so you get hit by them pretty often. He has bombs, which fall a lot more quickly than Toon Link's does. So he's like a very like, he's grounded by gravity a lot, but he takes that to his advantage. And so projectiles, which act in that matter, you always gotta respect. So also, really good recovery. Up B goes pretty high. This character can deal with almost any matchup, really. And it just depends on how fast you are. Because he's a mixture of being campy, but also very technically proficient in terms of getting your kill confirms down. Once you learn them, once you learn those single hit confirms into your kills, this is a deadly-ass character. Roy and Chrom, also in the high tier together. They have their differences, but I can narrow them down. Chrom is a really good character, but I think he dropped a little bit as people learned the matchup. The biggest glaring difference, of course, between Roy and Chrom is the recovery. While Roy has the up B, which sort of sends him at an upwards diagonal angle, Chrom has the Chromicide, as they call it. It's a move that sends you pretty high up vertically, but not very high, or not very, sorry, horizontally at all. So you have to sort of remember that when you use Chrom, because you have to be safe with his recovery. You have to be near the ledge when you use it. In terms of the x-axis. Roy's gotten more attention than Chrom. I've seen way more advancements in Roy's meta than Chrom's, and I think it's because a lot of people have gotten better at edge guarding Chrom. So yeah, Chrom can get edge guarded more, but that doesn't make him a bad character by any means. Especially, I remember seeing what Rivers was doing with him. His damage output is ridiculous. His knockback on all of his moves, on his forward smash, on his forward tilts, on his aerials, on his side B. And the fact that you can use Chromicide, the fact that you can gimp him is, I think, also balanced by the fact that you can use Chromicide to get like confirmed kills at 0%, which is scary for any character to have. He's one of the few characters that can kill at 0. Roy, on the other hand, has been on the rise in general, and I think Roy is actually probably on the cusp of being top tier because of the success of a lot of PGR players using him, and I think future success has to be factored in there too. So you can consider who you all think is the best Roy player in the world. I know Goblin to me comes to mind, Cola comes to mind, but I think like there's a lot of ones around the world obviously that I'm forgetting, but I think Roy could be top tier, even though he's the Ghostbuster. He swings like Ghost a lot, but when your frame data is that good, what's a few dead ghosts, right? Luigi did the same thing in Luigi's Mansion. So I really am curious to see how far this character goes, because Roy can beat any character in this game. A good Roy can beat any player in the world, and I mean that seriously, because they really made him a monster in Ultimate. They really did. So don't be surprised if I make another tier list when 10.0 comes out and I put Roy in top tier. Man, this one is the biggest jump, right? It wasn't a 9.0 jump, but it's like, I think it was an 8.0 jump, but I'm realizing it now more specifically, and I wanted to make it official. Falco is high tier in this game. This character is getting stupidly good because of the buffs he got, but I feel like he needs a lot more people playing him. You can't just have the few diehards like trying to solve his meta. You need a lot more people because he's that good. But I mean, where do I start? You know, like the cutscene combos, right? Not many characters in this game at all have cutscene combos, but Falco is the definition of it. If he gets one hit on you, or one hit of up tilt, and mind you, how good that up tilt is, how quickly it comes out, how easy it is to land. He has one of the Falco has one of the easiest combo stars in the game with up tilt, and with simple practice, up tilt can lead into at least like a 34% combo, sometimes 50 or 60 if you're crazy. And it's just really, really good what he's done. And, you know, drag downs with his forward air. His aerials are in the league of their own. Obviously, he has down air, which spikes a little more consistently now. Not near like it did in Melee, but, like, you can still get it. But, like, his up air comes out so fast. His back air kills. His nair, really good out of shield option. And his forward air is, like, the combo continuer. It is such an incredibly good drag down tilt. Like, forward air down tilt works so often, it's almost too reliable. What he's lacking is just that extra little bit of special sauce, right, to reach the next level. For most Spaceys, they opt to play Fox or Wolf because they see them as better characters, and honestly, I still do see Fox and Wolf as better characters. They have overall more options, they have overall more opportunities to beat more of the cast, and they don't have the same downfalls that Falco does. Falco has that short up B that definitely hurts him, so he's forced to use side B more often. But the better you get at predicting side B, the easier he is to kill. So you don't always want to mess with Falco in that regard. Also in high tier, we have Ike. Ike is basically Martha goes to the gym. The Ike buffs gave him quicker options to keep him safe, but also kept his insane rage. So his nair got nerfed in a sense, because now only part of it sends you up, but then they also included an up B finisher, which honestly, when I look back at it, I can safely say was a net positive for him. Because I still see nair being impressive, I still see people using nair cleverly, so they found out ways around that, but now they have another kill confirmed. And if you use up B out of shield, that kills way too early, like way too early. So Ike now has a great matchup spread. You know, he can be slow. He can have trouble dealing with top tiers, obviously. But, you know, his side B recover at the top goes really, really fast. Hard to read. His up B you have to respect, even though it has a little bit of vulnerability at the top. And I think in general, you know, I don't see Ike anywhere, I think, to the end of the game moving out of any lower than high tier. It's hard to find a character with that range and that strength and moves out of that fast, right? Like his backer that comes out, big range and massively powerful. His nair leads still, if you're clever, into up airs. It leads into more nairs, which lead into back airs or forward airs, which are just crazy powerful moves. And then he has an up smash, which has a huge range. Even though it's kind of slow, you can still use it as a comeback tool. And players like Raven King in the Wi-Fi era have really utilized using platforms cleverly, using fake outs, tomahawks, grabs, all sorts of little ways to make him look really, really good. So Ike is, to me, is still a high tier character. Next we have Link. Link and Young Link are both high tiers to me. Link is really just a great all-around fighter, and he's unusually strong. Like, I don't know if you've ever like gotten like full hit from a Link forward smash. It slices into your jugular. You are flying from Link forward smash. Got ridiculous nair, contender for best nair in the game. Well, not best nair, but like a really, really good nair. He has a bomb that can remote detonate, so you can sort of control that. You can also use the bomb to do your own little bomb drop combos, right? It acts like as a little standard item, which top players, especially Japanese Link players, have shown can do devastating potential, even from 0%. He definitely needs more representation to push him further, or to keep him from dropping to upper mid tier, because I feel like there's less Link players than they used to be, and he used to be really popular when the game first came out. But this character is really, really strong, and I think like T in Japan is a good example of what it can do. I would really love to see more players play him and take advantage of his massive strength. You know, he's got the up B out of shield. He's got really good projectiles with arrow, bombs, boomerang as usual. He doesn't have a grapple, which hurts him a bit, but he still makes up for that by being heavy. So he requires more of a big punch to actually kill and get off the stage. He can be gimped, but his up B is also big range, so it's sometimes hard to gimp him. But yeah, Link is a high tier character. Link is actually just really, really solid. And I could see him winning a tournament in the near future. All right, one of the least talked about characters in high tier to me is actually Rosalina. And one of the main reasons I even put Rosalina as high tier is DeBuzz. Thank you, DeBuzz, for reminding us and showing us his character is still top. It's still high tier. He usually will use Rosalina as a clutch counter pick mid-tournament to remind us all this character is good. It does feel like more of a counter pick character, which could push her to down to upper mid in the future if not enough people start playing her, because if it's only a counter pick character, that means that people just aren't studying her in general, or you know, she's not popular as she used to be. And a character's popularity, not to go on a soapbox, a character's popularity can drastically affect their tier. You might say, well, HBox, who cares if 1 person or 1 million people play the character? It's still the same code, right? It's true, but you have to imagine with so many more people playing the character, so much more is discovered. And sometimes popularity prevents the best things being discovered. And I think that's the case of Rosalina here. But still, it's Rosalina, right? Incredible setups you can do with Luma. Luma is such a bizarrely good defensive tool. You know, always pops back. The meta for Rosalina is to kill Luma and try to catch her. But honestly, good luck catching Rosalina. She is so floaty. She's like a strand of grass in the wind that can weave in and out as she pleases. And she has good frame data as well. And you can be as patient as you want. And DeBuzz showed us in Smash 4 how deadly that can be. Now, Rosalina received the Cloud treatment, where no longer the top tier oppressive giant beast that she was in Smash 4. But you still have to respect her. And you still have to make sure you don't, you know, overexert yourself against Rosalina. Because Luma's going to catch you. And a really good Rosa can aim Luma and make Luma do all the dirty work for you. So be very wary of Rosalina. And if more people play her, it's going to be a bad time. Yoshi. Yoshi is just... Yoshi. Fuck Yoshi. Obviously a high tier character. Just hurts. Just hurts you. I hate how squishy Yoshi is. I hate how safe the approaches are because of his horizontal mobility in the air. I hate how strong his backer is. I hate how his down air does 38% and leads into 5 up airs. I hate that down B breaks shields. I hate that jab leads into like up smash. And yeah. I'm happy Yoshi isn't top tier, because Sakurai could change like 2 things and make this like the scariest character in the game. Stupidly effective character. Very good at pressing buttons. If you want to press buttons, play Yoshi. But my assault aside, good Yoshis, the combo output they do is amazing. It's the same as last time. You know, character can be gimped off the ledge, but has the up B there. If you punish whiffs, can be effective. Has decent range. Gets a bit walled out by top tiers. Gets a bit walled out by projectile heavy characters like Snake. But he's pain. He's paying because he's a high tier. Also in high tier, I'm actually gonna put Min Min. Now we've seen we have yet to see any in-person majors with Min Min because of the quarantine. But players that put a lot of time into her, like Esam, will actually have been showing what the character can do. Now you might think like, oh well, you need to, you know, she can't do much in terms of rush down characters. Outer shield ups aren't great. If you approach her from the top, it's not too bad. But the more time people have been using Min Min, the more I'm realizing this actually is a really damn good character. Like the range alone, if you're able to desync and use the megawatt in proper times, or as I call it, the meatball, if you're able to use Meatball in clutch situations and aim it properly, there is cooldown after you miss, but remember, you can move back and forth with her forward smashes. I think it's a character that hasn't been explored nearly as much as it could be. And with that much range and power output, there's no, like, to me, she sits safely at high tier, and I really do think so. And I'm hoping with more time and more people playing this character, even though all the hype from him is gone because, you know, of the new DLC we have, Steve, you know, it might hurt her because less people are going to play her, but this is a really good character. I used to think Min Min belonged in the bin bin. No longer do I think that. I've seen the light. This is a distance demon for sure. To round out our high tier, Minecraft Steve / Alex / Enderman / zombie Steve. All right. Steve to me is a high tier character. And I'll be the first to say I'm just pleasantly surprised and pleasantly shocked at how cool this character ended up being. Like, honestly, it's a completely new flavor of character. He uses blocks to build his own little platforms on the stage. He uses blocks to block recoveries. He mines minerals across the stage and then crafts either a pickaxe or a sword based on what you have, which changes your frame data and damage output. He has a super low first jump, but can deal with all that. He has one of the best side Bs in the game with Minecart, which is just a command grab mixed with a range projectile, mixed with a edge guard tool, mixed with so many things. So much versatility. People have just now started scratching the surface on the combos you can do off of one up tilt. He's one of the only characters that has a moving up tilt you can walk around with, and he's the only character with a moving jab that isn't a projectile like Mega Man. And I've seen now from 0% confirms like up tilt, up air, block, up air, and they use the blocks building as they go along. It's like Fortnite combos or some shit. He's a cool ass character. Not to mention his up smash is super good. The diamond sword, as soon as you get it. If Steve had full diamond sword the whole time, he's top tier. Obviously. But Nintendo really did do a phenomenal job of balancing this character. He's fun. He has clear weaknesses with recovery. You know? But people have discovered it enough to not feel overly intimidated by it, I don't think. So it really boils down to the point where, like, if you are going to be playing Steve, like, you can deal with recovery, but you can use different ways to recover. You have minecart to recover. You have blocks on the ground or near the bottom blast zone to recover. You can use blocks at the top. And, of course, you can use the L area, the up B, and use kind of like a Meta Knight-esque glide to get back. But it's not overly busted like it used to be either. It's just a well-balanced, high-tier character, which we're still discovering as we go along. But every time someone discovers a new way to kill with Steve, I think someone else discovers a new way to kill Steve, right? I'm very fascinated to see where this character goes. So for now, I am placing Steve in the high tier for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. All right, so that's going to round out our high tier for this video. As you can tell, mid tier and high tier are both massive tiers. And it leaves one tier left now, and that's the top tier. So when we do our next video, we're going to find out who the absolute best of the bunch is in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So stay tuned.